Hey guys, it's Liz, and today we're talking about Stranger Things Season 3. This season was amazing. It was so good, and I had like super high expectations, and it exceeded all those expectations. Like the acting was so phenomenal, and the directing was amazing, the production was amazing. It was just like such a beautiful season. And yeah, I don't necessarily have like a favorite season now. I think that all of them are great in their own ways that I just can't pick one. Like, they're all amazing. Yeah, so if you have not seen it, you should go watch it. I give it an A+. You will not regret it. It's amazing. But you probably should leave because I'm going to be spoiling it in great detail. So if you have not watched it, bye! So I'm just talking about Steve Harrington for a little bit. I love him. The fact that, like, he went from being one of the like most hated characters to like literally everyone's favorite character. Like, I have not heard one person say that Steve Harrington is their favorite character, and that's just like, that's phenomenal that they were able to do that, and it just really makes him such a like better character by having that really large character arc. And like, just the fact that he used to be this like super popular guy who was like cool, and now he's just like scoops ice cream for a living. It's just amazing. I think that putting Dustin and Steve and Robin and Erica together was super smart because it just made their whole storyline just so funny, and I think that that was definitely like a lot of people's favorite parts of the season was just their whole storyline. And I just love, and okay, a lot of people were mad at the fact that like Dustin wasn't with the kids, but like, I don't really think that that was a problem. I think that putting Dustin with that group was really smart because it really gave him a chance to like shine and be like one of the main characters in his own storyline. So I really think that was smart. I think that all those characters and those actors all have really good chemistry together. I love Steve and Robin's friendship. I love Robin. She's so funny, and she just like works so well with the group, and I'm just so glad that they put her in this season. And yeah, I just think that their storyline was hilarious. Like, a lot of my favorite scenes are the one where Robin and Steve are on drugs. That was the funniest thing ever. Like, the part where they're like, who do you work for? And Steve's like, Scoops. It's just like, that was great. Billy, they did a good job with Billy. Like, Dacre Montgomery is freaking phenomenal. He he was definitely another highlight of the season. Just like, his acting was amazing. And I really like what they did with Billy's character. Like, they like, okay, they didn't like make you feel like, think that like, oh, he's a good person now. They weren't trying to like justify what he'd done, because like, yeah, Billy's a bad person. Like, that's a fact. Like, you can't change that. Like, they weren't trying to justify his actions, but I think they did a good job of just showing why he was the way he was. And they were not like brushing like, oh, he's a good person, but they were just saying like, hey, like, this is what happened. And I just think that, not that I like wanted Billy to die, but I think that that was kind of the only way to really redeem his character a little bit. I think that was really smart on their part. Oh, I really enjoyed Max and Billy because we know that they don't really like each other, and especially in last season, I don't know what happened in a year past, but last season they were always kind of butting heads. Billy was like kind of horrible to her, but this season it was really interesting to see how conflicted Max was with Billy, and with him being the mind flayer, because she was always like, oh, I hope it's not you. And it just like hurt because I was like, yeah, I know, like, even if they really don't like each other, like, they're still siblings, and it's like Max doesn't want her brother to be murdering all these people. And it was just really like sad to see at the end when Max saw Billy die. I was like, that's sad. Y'all, Mike and Eleven in this show, just like every time they came on screen, my heart just like expanded 3 sizes because they're so cute. I love the fact that Mike and Elle broke up. Like, when Eleven dumped him, I literally laughed so hard. I was like, that's so funny. And it's just so like fun to see, like, they're like babies, and they're like dating, and they're all so awkward, and they do stupid things. And I think it was I liked how Mike and Eleven broke up, just so like Eleven could really like grow into herself a little bit more. And I really enjoyed Mike and, or not Mike, Max and Eleven becoming friends, because it just really allowed Eleven to like get out of her shell a little bit. Like, their shopping montage to Material Girl was really the best thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. I watched it like 4 times. I was just like, I love this. And just like having like the boys trying to find something for them at the same time was just beautiful. I will say that like there were a couple times where I was like, okay, Max, like you're getting was a little too much for 11, but I do think, I mean, that's just Max's character. Like she's just always been kind of like, you know, abrasive. I don't know. But it was just fun to see their characters kind of meet up, and just because they're just so different. And yeah. But I do, okay, everyone was like, oh, Mike is being so like rude and I was like, first off, Mike is the only one who's caring about the fact that y'all are using Eleven's powers. And I really did like that part where Mike was like, and I love her, and I can't, it was just, oh, it was so cute. I loved that part. And everyone was just like, but yo, I love Max and Lucas. They are so cute. And yeah, they didn't have like a huge part this season, but like, they were so cute. And a lot of people were like, oh, I'm mad that, like, they should have had more Max and Lucas. But, and like, yeah, of course, they should have. But then at the same time, I'm like, I think that they did, like, they portrayed Max and Lucas the way they should have been portrayed. I mean, their relationship is just very simple, and, you know, I just think that they did a good job with showing that, and just how, like, funny they are with each other. And the fact that Max has dumped Lucas 5 times is so funny. Like, they've literally been dating for, like, a year, and that's just beautiful. I love that. And it's just such, like, a teenager, like, baby relationship, and it's just perfect. So, Will, a lot of people are mad about the fact that Will didn't really have, like, a whole bunch to do in this season, which I understand. But I also understand the fact that, like, they're probably trying to give him, like, a break, because he's just been so, like, you know, they didn't really necessarily want to make him the one who's going to have to deal with everything in the season, just because of the fact that he literally got possessed last season. He's probably he's still feeling those effects. So, you know, I don't think that there was, like, a error on their part for making Will the way he was, but I do kind of wish that he had a little bit more to say than, like, let's play D&D and he's here. But, you know, I think that he's still, like, I mean, I just don't, like, the season just, like, wasn't necessarily, like, Will's season. And again, like, it wasn't Lucas's season. Like, he didn't really, he just had, like, the same amount of lines as, like, Lucas and Max, stuff like that. So I don't think that was really a problem. I do really like the scene where he was, like, destroying Castle Virus, because that was just really sad. And, like, just seeing Will kind of, like, everyone else around him is growing up, and he's kind of like, well, what the heck, like, when did this start happening? I don't understand, like, and just him not really wanting to grow up and just wanting to stay the way things were. And it's just really, like, it's just, like, something that everyone's been through, you know, like, you don't want to grow up, and it's just, like, yeah, it's just, I think that the show really does a good job of just showing these kids growing up and this weird, awkward things that happen with it. So, yeah. But, yeah, I think that he could have had a couple more lines in the season, but I think that overall, I mean, I think that his character was where he needed to be. And I think that he probably will have a bigger storyline next season, too, just seeing him, like, you know, the only friends he's ever really had are the boys, and I think it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, him and 11 are basically going to be siblings, so I think that's going to be an interesting relationship. I'm actually really excited to see how they do, like, how they have those relationships, because, you know, Joyce is basically her mom now, and Jonathan's her brother, and I don't think I've ever really seen where they've really interacted that much, so we'll see how that goes. But we all knew that Joyce and Hopper were gonna, you know, have a little something this season, which they did, and it was really fun to see them, you know, go back and forth with each other. I love Joyce's season, because, like, she just always tells people off, and it's just so satisfying when she does, because I'm just like, yes, just get things done. And the fact that, like, oh yes, and she's like, oh, like, Will, and this is, she's just like, my magnets aren't working, that means that something's happening. Also, Mr. Clark is, like, low-key helped solve every problem in this series. Like, they would never have known how to, like, but they would have never known about the Upside Down, or, like, how to get into where it was without Mr. Clark, and also they would have never known about this without Mr. Clark. So the real hero of this series is Mr. Clark. I really did enjoy Hopper and Joyce's season. I enjoyed the storyline. I loved Alexei a lot. He was really cute, and then he died, and I was like, that's so sad. Like, a lot of people were like, Alexei, and, like, I get it, but I just never, like, you know, it wasn't like, I wasn't, like, sobbing when he died or anything, but, like, you know, I was sad. There were no tears, but there were tears at the end. For a long time, I've just been, like, convinced for some reason that Steve was gonna die. Not that I want him to die, but just the fact that I was like, he's just that one character that, like, it's not, like, he's not related to anyone or anything, and he's not, you know, like, he's gonna affect people, but he's not gonna affect people to the point where the series, like, can't go on. So I was like, oh, like, they're not gonna kill Hopper. Like, I was very adamant about the fact that they would not kill Hopper. I mean, like, because I was like, oh, well, like, if they kill Hopper, like, they already killed Joyce's boyfriend last season. Like, they aren't gonna kill her other boyfriend this season. Also, 11, like, that's her dad. Like, she's already been through a lot. There's just all these reasons. And I was like, they aren't gonna kill Hopper. That would just ruin the show, right? What'd they do? They killed Hopper. I was like, what the heck? When he died, I was like, at first I was just, like, kind of, like, crying. I wasn't, like, sobbing. And because I was just like, he's not dead. Like, I didn't believe it. I was like, There was also like 30 minutes left of the show, so I was like, okay, he's not dead. It's fine. Like, they're gonna give us a clue, you know? And it just kept going, and he was like dead. And then it showed like 11 like realizing that Hopper was dead, and like that's when I started sobbing, and I was like, shoot. They really did that. They really killed Hopper. And then but then I realized, I was like, okay, of course they killed Hopper, because they had to kill Hopper. They had to kill someone like Hopper. Because now I'm like, my theory for Steve dying is so stupid, because he wouldn't have affected the show enough. And at this point in the show, they need someone to die who was like going to literally like just shake the foundation of the show. That's what they need at this point. And I didn't really think about that. The fact that like after this season, it's like they needed something huge to happen in order to keep this series going. Because like if you don't have anything crazy happen at the end of this season, then it's like, how are we supposed to like draw another season out? How are we supposed to like keep going after this? Because you can't just keep having the same thing happening over and over again in this small town. By killing Hopper, they literally changed the entire like show. Like, Joyce is moving, Jonathan's moving, Ella's moving, Will's moving. They're all moving away, and that's obviously gonna change everything. Hopper's gone. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Hopper is gone, and you know, you're breaking up all these relationships and these friendships, and it's just like that's what's needed to happen. Obviously, I don't wish they killed Hopper, but like in the end, like they needed to kill Hopper or someone like Hopper, because it's the only thing that would have allowed the show to really keep going if they wanted to have another season, which they obviously are because of the way they ended the season. They wouldn't have ended the season this way if they didn't have another season. I was like a mess whenever that happened, and when like Hopper, the letter that I was like literally sobbing. I was like it wasn't like just like the cry sobbing, it was like the loud sobbing where you like hiccup. My favorite episodes I think were 4, because it just was like the acting in that episode was so good, like especially the part with the sauna and Billy and 11. It's just like that episode was super good, and the way it ended with like all the zombie people and the music, it was just like woohoo. Also episode 6, I really liked episode 6 just because of like 11 going back and seeing what happened to Billy, and also I really like the end when 11 like wakes or like gets out of Billy's like memories or whatever, and she gets up and like no one's there, and she's like, what the heck, because she's still technically in Billy's memories, and like Billy's there, and it's just really creepy, and Billy starts like talking to 11, and like, you know, and you have like the shots of all the people like leaving the carnival or fair or whatever and going to the place where the mind flayer is and melting, and it's just like that whole part was just so like I think about it, I'm getting chills, and like my heart is like beating because it was so good, and like the music. And I forgot to talk about Dustin and Susie singing. Now that I think about it again, I'm like, that's hilarious. But like when I was watching it, I was just like stressed because, you know, things were happening, and then that was happening, and I was like, well, how does it feel right now? I'm like having an anxiety attack, and then like these kids are just singing, and I'm just like, okay, let's get it going, you know, give it the number. But now that I think about it, like that was really funny, and I think that was a really genius way to bring Susie into the mix. So, season 4. Definitely happening, I assume, just because of the fact, like, the way they ended it. The post-credit scene is back in Russia, and they're like in a prison or something. When they pass by this one cell, they say, no, not the American. So everyone's assuming that that American is Hopper because, I mean, this isn't because, but like throughout the season, like they always refer to him as like the American, and like they always, like they just say that a lot. So I'm assuming that that is Hopper, and if it's not, then that's gonna be a really weird way to like have, why would they put that post-credit scene in there? But then so then they get someone else and they bring him to like this like cage thing, and there's a Demogorgon in there, and it's like how'd that get in there? Because I'm pretty sure y'all didn't transport it from like America to Russia. So I'm thinking that somehow they ended up opening a gate into like they opened a gate in Russia maybe, or they somehow got Demogorgon out of the gate in America, which I don't really understand how they would do that. But I'm just guessing that they somehow were able to open a gate in Russia. I don't know how, but yeah. Season 4, I'm kind of scared for season 4. Obviously, I want there to be a season 4, obviously, after this season ended, but it's just going to be so different because, you know, you have half the cast to move away, and all these, like, relationships and friendships and stuff are, like, they're apart, and it's just going to be weird. Like, and also, Hopper's gone. Are we going to have, like, another side thing with, like, Russia? Is he going to be in Russia, or is he in the Upside Down? Like, did he somehow escape that one room by going into the gate? Where did he go? You know, we don't know it. And also, like, we don't really know where the Byers moved. Like, it's obviously somewhere that's fairly far away because, you know, like, they were talking about visiting for Christmas and Thanksgiving and, like, only those things. So, like, it has to be somewhere that's, like, relatively far away. And I don't know if there's a reason why we don't know about that. Like, we don't know where they are, or it's just, like, we just don't know where they are. But then I was thinking, well, maybe somehow, like, maybe it's going to be, like, during Christmas time when they all, like, all the Byers come back, and that's when everything happens, but I don't know. I don't know, I'm just scared because, like, you know, the kids are getting older, and, like, this show is just such a character-based show, and, you know, they're definitely going to have to, like, up the plot a lot more in the next season, so I just really hope that they're still able to keep that, you know, the character and plot levels, like, the same, just because, like, without the characters, I mean, I think, like, this plot is still fantastic, but without the characters, it's kind of like, okay, like, we don't really care, and, you know, it's just, like, the characters are kind of what makes this show, I think, at this point, and, you know, I just hope that they are still able to keep that, like, old nostalgic kind of feeling, and, you know, just, like, the simple feeling of Stranger Things while also having the super intricate plot. Because, you know, next season they're really gonna have to, like, up the plot just because of the fact it's just becoming such a larger scale now. With, you know, like, a larger scale just, like, in the fact that that's just gonna be a bigger plot, but also the fact that it's gonna be over probably a larger landmass because you're gonna have probably separate stories going on throughout the world. So, you know, and also, like, we don't, like, Nancy and Jonathan are probably gonna be in college, you know. And it's just like, that's why I think maybe it's going to be during, like, a time with the holidays where everyone's back together. But I don't know. I just hope that they are able to, you know, keep the old, like, the funness in Stranger Things. And I think they will. I'm not worried because, like, I trust the Duffer Brothers and I trust all the people in the show because they have made 3 fantastic seasons so far. So, yeah, I'm thinking it's probably going to be, like, not, like, the next Christmas, but, like, the next Christmas. And it's probably going to come out maybe, like, next Christmas. Like, not this coming Christmas, but, like, the Christmas after that. So, I can see that. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, season 4. Let's go. Overall, this season was amazing. I think that it was, like, I don't really have any complaints with this season. I think that they did a really good job with it. I think that the story is where it needs to be, and I'm really excited to see where they go with it. I hope that it's good, and I think it will be good. So, yeah. So, thanks for watching for my review. It's kind of a mess again, but, yeah. It was a good season, and y'all should go watch it. Bye! One thing that I forgot to say was that Max and Lucas singing Never Ending Story at the end was the best thing I've ever seen.